Hey guys, how you doing? It's Henry. I'm Mowers and Blowers. It's early today. It's around 10 o'clock. Early start. I noticed from yesterday's video that when I started up this engine was kind of wobbly. I don't remember if I tightened down the engine mounting bolts. I'll find out today. In addition, I've confirmed that this CV15S Kohler Command 15 horsepower engine is indeed a hydraulic lifter type, which means that there is no valve adjustment necessary. The only way that you could adjust that is if you took the breather off after you take off the carburetor, take the panel off, so that the two valves are exposed through the breather cover. Then you take out the valves and you grind them. Well, as you guys know, I don't really have good experience grinding valves, and I always over grind them, which completely trashes the valves, you know what I mean? So since this thing starts and runs, I'm not going to screw with it, you know what I mean? I'm just going to tighten the engine bolts on there, and so the engine doesn't wobble too much. Maybe find a way to get some self-tapping screws and adhere the engine cover to the engine block a little bit better, because it only has one screw that wasn't stripped on it when I removed the engine cover, you know. So the engine cover, the plastic cover, is just a little loose on there. I want to try to secure it a little bit. And then, you know what? I'm just going to get rid of this thing. Remember the LT1000 that I stripped down? Not sorry. That was the Franken tractor. Remember I did the battery and fuel tank swap, right? I took the, it's a rear gas tank setup, and I took the stock rear gas tank out of it and put the battery in the back with a battery box, and then put the gravity-fed fuel tank on the front. Well, here's the gas tank. I'm glad I took it out because I listed it on eBay. Are you ready for this? $70. Sold it for $70 yesterday. It'll probably cost me $20 to ship, right? So $50 for this gas tank. And just to think, I was gonna just leave it in there and cut a battery hole and put the battery in there. Glad I didn't. So let's figure out why the engine kind of wobbles. But let's start it first and see if it starts. It's been on a trickle charger the whole day, the whole night. And, oh, you know what? I gotta fill this thing up with gas. Okay, I just put gas in it. Oh. Feels a little wet. Oh, you know what? It's just wet from, I guess, the sprinklers overnight. It's not gas. Okay. So, choke. So the idle's fine, but it just vibrates a lot, you know? Starts and runs. Alright, let's check out why those engine bolts are so loose. Let me just go get a ratchet. Man, that sun is beating on the back of your head. You know that feeling?
The left rear bolt is missing. I think the right rear bolt is loose, so I'm just tightening it. As you can see, engine cover screws are stripped. All that's sticking out are the stems. That's why the engine cover vibrates so much and it appears to move on video. 1/4-inch self-tapping screws. Just going to put them in and secure the cover onto the engine block. That'll do. Shout out to Matthew Derrickson, who donated $2 to the channel. He also bought a bunch of stickers. Again, thanks a lot, Matt, for supporting the channel. Appreciate it.
It's charging the battery very well.
Actually, I'm going to park it back in that spot again. So, you know what we're going to work on today? That's right. Scott's by John Deere. Let me get this lawnmower out of the garage. This is the lawnmower that my cousin Hank fixed yesterday. You guys enjoyed that video? You guys like Hank coming to visit? He's a good kid. Make sure you subscribe to Hank, the Asian Redneck, on YouTube. He's got 109 subscribers. Go check out his channel. Press subscribe for me, will ya? Thanks very much. Just primed it. It's got kind of a short rope. Not bad. Very ingenious what he did here. I know I didn't have a cable long enough for the bail handle, so he removed the bail handle altogether and he put a Troy-built, true variable speed, self-propelled engagement handle in it. Because this handle is rounded and this fitting was ovalish, he banged it flat so that this thing would fit. He put 2 self-tapping screws in there and it stays put. And it engages. The magneto kill and brake. We got this thing from Andy from Jericho, and he found it on the street. It had no pull rope on the recoil starter, no dipstick, no cap. Had a dirty air filter and a dirty carburetor, and the needle was rusted shut inside the channel. So you guys saw what happened with Hank. Took it apart, put everything back together again, and now it works. Probably sell this for $100. Thanks, Hank. So this is a Scott's 16 horsepower Kohler Command 42 wide. It's a Scots by John Deere. It's a nice mower. I had the green Sabre version, and I had one of these a long time ago too. I think I sold my Sabre, which had a Vanguard engine in it, by the way. It sold for about $750. No, I listed it for $750, sold it for $650. As you know, I got this for free. That's right, free, from Chris in Selden. He's a subscriber. He actually left on the comments one day, hey, there's a riding mower sitting in Selden as of 3:30 on Friday. So I wrote back and I says, it's a Carburetor. I can't make it over there. I won't be able to get it by the time I get there. And so you know what he did? He rolled it with his daughters from their house to his driveway, in which you guys saw in the episode. I went to go visit him. He's got a YouTube channel too. Go check him out. My Firewood Gig on YouTube. Tell him Henry sent you. Anyway, thanks a lot, Chris, for the tip on getting this thing and for showing me around your house. It's a cool hobby you have, splitting firewood. I actually have 10 years worth of firewood too, but I just don't use my fireplace enough. I don't know why I cut so much. Anyway, I had this on a trickle charger the entire time that it was in the back of my garage. And what I said last time was that I didn't think it would take that much to get it going, because while it probably had been sitting for 8 years, the battery's from 2012, so we know it was running at least in the year 2012, so 8 years ago. It's a hydrostatic transmission, and believe it or not, the freewheel transmission release lever actually works. So when it's engaged, the transmission will move the tractor. When you pull it out, you can freewheel push it, as I just did now. Let's check the voltage on this battery and see if we have enough juice for this thing to crank. Like I said, it was on a trickle charge, and this is one of my favorite batteries, the cheap 24, 95, or 97 Everstart U1R7. 230 cold crank amps. Wow, guess what? This is not the U1R. This is selection number 81, and it's actually a U1P-7, and it's 275 cold cranking amps. As you see the sticker here, it's from September 2012. Very corroded terminals, right? And so I trickle charged it. So let's see what the voltage is on this. You need 12.4 to start an engine. Holy cow, it didn't hold the charge at all. It's at 3.2 volts. So this battery is Dunsky! So you ready for this? The battery, the original battery, not the original, but the one I took off of the Toro 825 riding mower. So I just took it out and I put my own Advanced Auto Parts one, you know, the 160 CCA, and I put it on there, and that's why it runs. But while I had this out of the Toro, I did a trickle charge to it. So a couple of days ago, I took it off the trickle charge to use for other stuff. And it looked like it held a charge. So it's been 2 days. Let's see how much of a charge this still has. Remember, you need 12.4 to start. Wow, it shows 12.67. So this actually held a charge. It lost a little. When I took it off the trickle, it was like 12.8. Now it's 12.6. So it looks like this battery might be good, which is really amazing. This is a 190 cold crank amp. So you know what? Since this battery is Dunsky, I'm going to put this battery in. See what happens. So it was a pain in the ass to get the terminals off because they were so rusted, you know. I was thinking about just grinding it off, but then it finally came off. So let's see if it cranks, huh? It clicks, see? You know what that means? Solenoid is busted. So you know what, let's try to jump it. So I can't sit on it when I'm jumping it, so we're just gonna jump the solenoid. Okay, so it clicks when I'm sitting on it, and it clicks when I'm not sitting on it because I have the brake on. Let's check the Earl again. Don't want to start this thing without Earl. It's full of oil, so that's good. Just want to see if it cranks, right? So let me jump it. So the solenoid's right there. You can see it. I'm going to take a wrench and touch both sides of the posts.
Don't electrocute yourself, Henry.
Huh. I'm touching both posts and nothing happens. Huh, that's really strange. It really should, like, crank or something. It's not working. As if there's no power at all. My multimeter out. Negative prong to negative, and this battery post over here. And I've got 12.65 to the battery post. Got nothing going on over there. Well, 2.5 volts. So when you jump it, nothing moves. So that solenoid is seized beyond repair. So it's not even moving, you know what I mean? So I gotta change the solenoid. What a pain. My last starter solenoid. This one was sent to me by Pro Parts Direct. They sent me a bunch, but they stopped sending me stuff. So this is my last one, and it's a direct replacement because it's a 4-post solenoid in there. I'm just gonna replace it with this one. Unfortunately, I have to take out the battery again. What a pain. So my battery died, but I did manage to get the solenoid out. Let me tell you, that was a nightmare. I'll tell you why. While the entire tractor doesn't look like it has any rust in it, right? There was plenty of rust inside where the battery box sits, right? It was terrible. Both nuts were seized on that original fuel starter solenoid, right? And so I had to kind of like chisel off the nut to get it off, right? So I just busted that bracket over there, whatever. So because it's a 4-post solenoid, right? The solenoid itself does not have to be grounded because it has a dedicated ground wire on the other post. That's why it's 4 posts, right? The 2 main ones that connect the red cable to the battery, the red cable to the solenoid, and then the solenoid to the battery. The in-between is what connects the 2 wires to give it power to the starter, right? You got the trigger wire, which is a 12-volt burst onto it to activate the plunger to go up, to touch the 2 posts, to connect the 2 wires. The black wire is a dedicated ground. Ground goes right to the frame. So technically you don't have to adhere the solenoid itself to the frame. It could just sit there loose, which it is right now. There was such little area to move your hands around, so I actually pulled this cover off, right? The middle cover off, so I could pull the solenoid out here to get the bolts off. As you can see, I had to cut one of them because it was so rusted. I had to grind it off, that post. So like I said, the post that was here, that one goes to the battery, this one goes to the starter, this one is the negative ground, and this one is the pulse line from the ignition switch. It doesn't matter which one. the polarity is interchangeable. So, we got the battery in there. It's at 12.6 volts, right? Got the solenoid, a new solenoid replaced, right? Let's see if the key turns the starter, which turns the engine. You ready? Ooh. Okay, so it works. It moves, but the flywheel is frozen. I'm trying to move the double stack pulley in the bottom to help this thing turn. So, I know now that the switch works, the solenoid works, and it gets power to the starter, which turns the flywheel because we see the flywheel moving. It's not moving because it's probably got a ton of a mouse nest in there, as well as some kind of hydrolock or something. Maybe there's rust buildup between the magneto and the flywheel, but actually it spins. Maybe not that. Now, the time. No, we're not. We're going to take that engine cover off and see the size of the mouse nest that's in there. I'm pretty confident that there will be. So I've learned my lesson about taking off the engine cover off these Kohler commands, because I don't know, the engine blocks for the Kohlers, at least the commands, they look like a different kind of metal. You know what I mean? It doesn't look like aluminum. I know it is, but you know, it doesn't have the same color as the Briggs ones, right? As a result, the way they put the bolts in, right, they always get stuck in there, man. So I'm just using a little bit of penetrating oil on all the bolts that attach the engine cover onto the engine block, and I'm using penetrating oil from my friends over at Focus Oil Products. So I'm just going to go around and buzz each of these bolts, just so it gives it a little bit of a fighting chance. When you come over here on the left side, I'm moving the throttle cable, the lever, it's not moving. So I think this part here is seized on here. It's not even moving. See what I mean? It's like stuck in there. Oh man. See what I'm doing here? I'm just loosening it up. Loosening it up. There we go. There you go. Oh. And it won't push when you do that, it won't push itself. So it needs a lot of freeing up. I'm going to blast some penetrating oil in there just to loosen up the rust buildup in that area there. This stuff works absolutely great, so I'm pretty confident that we're going to be able to loosen this part up here. Just whatever they put in this penetrating oil, it'll work its magic by itself. And I'll just work it back and forth, see? So it'll pull up, but it's still not good enough to push down. Still need to work it with your hands. It's still pretty hard to do, but I may have to remove this whole thing. And grind it or something, clean it up. Ooh, okay. See what I'm talking about here? gotta move it back and forth, back and forth. I might loosen this up so I can just use my hands and do it. That's what I'll do. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna loosen this up. Take the cable out, like they say in Canada. Oh! I'm gonna take the cable out. No. No. It's a Z-bend on the cable, the throttle, as Terrell would say, the throttle cable. Not the throttle cable, the throttle. Alright, so look. Now, I can just move it back and forth a little and kind of grind out the rust that's built up around the mechanism. It's still really rough though. This damn thing's in the way.
Henry, we can't see.
Well, I'm busy. Can't you see that?
But I want to see.
Fine. Can you see now?
That's much better, Henry.
Okay. It was a little bent. Okay, it's starting to work. You know what? So it's pretty good. Still not great, but it's starting to work. So this was in the up position when we first had it. So I'm going to keep it in the down position and spray some more. The areas that were not ever exposed to the air is now going to be exposed to the air. All right, so now I'm going to try to remove this engine cover bolt. Hope I don't strip it. It's 5/16. Wait a minute, should I use a, oh, I'll try it. I'm gonna go slow. Slow clicks. And look, I feel it right here. The end of it, it's moving, so it's good. I'm gonna actually push it in more. Then reverse it. Yeah, that's one. And basically all you really need is one to hold it on there. This one here. It moves. Spray it back in. I mean, put it back in. No. Yes, success, success. I tell you, success! So this had the same problem as my, the one that I just sold. What tractor did I just sell? Is that the Franken tractor? Yeah. Is that it? Yeah. The connecting module that holds the lights to the hood is melted shut. So I might have to cut this wire and find another connector. I'm just gonna cut it. I'm gonna try to take the hood off to make it easier for me. It's not the same as a Craftsman, ooh, but it's just as easy. It's a pivot to the right, and then it comes off. So now we can see the engine pretty well. Okay, this one's loose, this one was off. Is this attached to it? No. Looks like one more over here and it's a 3/8. Of course it's a 3/8. The rest of them are 15, but the one in the front has to be 3/8. Of course it has to be. Because it would be too easy if they left it all 15/16 or 5/16. Of course it's not 3/8. It's 10 millimeter, I forgot. And you have to have a good 10 millimeter. Not a bad 10 millimeter. Of course I can't find it. Of course it's hiding. Damn. There we go. There we go.
Henry, you have a ratchet wrench. Why don't you use the ratchet?
Because it's broken, that's why. It goes this way, but it won't go back.
Oh, that's pretty cheap, Henry.
Yes, it is. It's made by Gear Wrench. Sucks. Actually, I think that's off. Are you guys ready for the rat's nest? Why do you call it rat's nest, Henry? It's a mouse nest. Well, here in New York City, where I grew up, we call them rats. Because they're as big as raccoons. Oh my god. Oh, it's got a voltage regulator on it. Yeah, that just makes it a lot easier, doesn't it? Look at that mouse nest.
Rat's nest.
Rat's nest.
That's yucky, Henry.
Yes, it's yucky.
How are you gonna clean that, Henry?
I'm gonna whip out my Echo leaf blower. That's how.
Okay.
But the big blob, gotta use your hands. I've seen worse. So check this out. Let's try to move the flywheel now. Oh, you know what just happened? The starter gear was hung up on the gears of the flywheel. So that's why it wouldn't move. So look, I'm gonna try to turn it now and see what happens. Ooh, cool. Cool. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna grease this flywheel. Years of it sitting here with no lubrication, see? Trying to move it up a little. Move it up and then spray inside. There. Flooding that area with lubrication. I'm going to blow it out with my Echo leaf blower. That's a good piece of it. Now we're going to use the air compressor with the thin nozzle. Cover your mouth. That's pretty good. I'm gonna put everything back. We greased the gear on the starter, blew out this engine, came out pretty nicely. We tested it to see if it cranks, and it does. Cranks pretty smoothly, actually. Oh, this has to be on the outside. That has to be on the outside. This has to be over here. Oh, that's not moving. These clips has to be in there, otherwise it won't tighten. Let me figure this out, okay? So I reattached my throttle cable, and it looks like it's working well, see? It's loosened up very well. I also sprayed some Toolbox Buddy, which is the same thing as WD-40 version for Lucas. Smooth. So now I'm going to remove the air cleaner. I guarantee you this carburetor is going to be trashed. Actually, I shouldn't use the word guarantee because you never know. Oh, yes, for sure. You know why? There's not even a filter in here, and there's debris everywhere in here. It's terrible. All kinds of crap in there. It's like dirt. You know what? I'll show you. Look at that. There's like an inch of dirt in there. Oh, looks like I might have to dig deep and buy a carburetor. But I'll tell you what, let's just try something first. Let's spray something in there. Some carb spray or starting fluid. And just see if it turns over. Ooh, kind of wants to, huh? Hey, there we go. So, let's take off this carburetor and see what a madhouse it is. There's bugs inside. Bug eggs and pods. Can you believe that? Crazy. And also the choke flap seized. See? Can't even move it. But actually, I'm lucky because the choke flap was closed, all that dirt and stuff didn't get into the intake. You know what I'm saying? It's actually clean. So all I need is a new carburetor. Should I try to fix this one? Or is this too far gone? You blow, it blows. And actually the bowl is not very dirty because it had bugs in it and it was so dry, you know? And actually the needle looks okay. So should I try to clean this? I'm going to try to take these two screws out. I tried to bend it, but it was bending the plate. I'm going to try to take these two screws out here, take the plate off, and try to work this back and forth to see if I can get it to move. So, you know what I did? I'll tell you what I did. I looked in my bag of parts, my bit of parts. I had like 3 Kohler carburetors in there, right? Ooh, excuse me, burrito. Oh no, that wasn't me. And I trashed the choke flap on the original one. So I took another carburetor, used the float bowl, the float, the needle, and the little grommet that goes into the throttle lever. Put it on that one, cleaned it, put it on there. I added a fuel shutoff, cleaned the gas tank, filled it with gas. Not filled, but about a third. Connected it, turned it on. So far, so good. It doesn't leak. And I made a foam. I didn't have a air filter for that, so I made like a foam thing temporarily for it. So I guess we could just try to start it. Oh, that's it. I got gonorrhea. Choke. Wow.
How about that, huh? This is low idle now. I just adjusted the idle screw so that it idles this fast. Let's see if it moves. Whoa. Hydro works great. And the brakes work too. Very well. Should I try the PTO? How about that, fellas? How about that, man? One episode to get it running and driving. You saw the smoke come out when I engaged the PTO. Looks like the spindles or the shafts or the pulleys or the blades are seized. So we're going to have to take the deck off. I hope I didn't just burn the blades too, because you saw some smoke coming out, you know, and then when I tried to engage it all the way, you wouldn't see it anymore. So it's almost as if the belt broke. I'm not sure, but engine seems to run great, and I'm stoked. That was fantastic, you know. So what do we do today? We cleaned out the rat's nest, took off the engine cover, made two bad carburetors into one, added a fuel shutoff, cleaned the gas tank. Is that all we did? Oh! Replaced the starter solenoid, put a new battery in there. This thing runs and drives. Tomorrow we'll figure out the mower deck. Thanks a lot for joining me on today's project of my Scott's 16 horsepower Scott's by John Deere lawn tractor that I got for free. That's right, free. And we got it running and driving today, all in one episode. Fantastic. We'll see you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers. See that? I wanted to just clean up the driveway, right? But then I figured, hey, I got the bagger on here. Why don't I try sucking it all up, right? I gotta tell you, this little thing runs great. And it's like the size of a push mower, you know what I mean? Including the handles.
I mean, it takes up a space of a push mower, you know what I mean? I almost feel like keeping it. No, I'm not going to keep it. Well, maybe I will. I don't know. It's a nice mower. See you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers.